Enough is enough. Instead of facing more bank fees, customers are voting with their pocketbooks.
Winterizing your home, spending money now can pay off in the long run.
And bridging the achievement gap, providing an equal education has its challenges. KOMU 8 News at 9 starts now.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on. This is KOMU 8 News at 9 on the CW.
Protesters tried to send a message to some of the nation's biggest banks today. Good evening, I'm Jamal Andrews.
And I'm Lindsay Cooper. Consumers protesting a range of new bank fees declared today to be Bank Transfer Day and urged customers to take their business elsewhere. Brian Moore has the story. Unemployment checks have stopped coming for most out-of-work Americans. That's because many of those no longer receiving benefits have been without a job so long they no longer qualify. Early last year, 75% of the unemployed were getting unemployment checks. Now it's less than half. Congress could decide by the end of the year whether to extend jobless benefits in the hardest hit states for up to 99 weeks. The Census Bureau says unemployment benefits helped prevent 3.2 million Americans from slipping into poverty last year. As the weather gets colder, you might be noticing your windows are a little drafty, or maybe the heater just isn't getting the job done. Pretty common problems this time of year. KOMU 8's Tong Gao takes us inside a City of Columbia home maintenance workshop designed to save homeowners money. The city also provides funds to help low or moderate income households get their home prepared. Nearly 1,000 Boy Scouts descended on MU's campus today for a special day of classes. Service fraternity Alpha Phi Omega teamed up with Boy Scouts of America to host Merit Badge University. Scouts from across the state got their merit badges through a number of classes. One of the event coordinators says the lessons learned here aren't taught in an everyday classroom.
It's the principle of doing something for somebody and not necessarily wanting something back. So it's about giving and providing a service to people, just because they want to do that.
Some of the classes taught today involved personal fitness, first aid, and citizenship in the community. This is the first time Alpha Phi Omega has held this type of event, and the service fraternity says it hopes to make it an annual one.
The gap between rich and poor is one of the things they're protesting on Wall Street.
But what about that gap in our schools? Coming up, the challenges of closing the achievement gap in Columbia Public Schools. Oh yeah, it's starting to get colder then.
Exactly, cold and wet. Make sure to remember that umbrella as you work your way out the door on Monday.
Yeah, I'll try not to forget that. Well, Missouri is down and Texas taking on Baylor.
And Henry Josie is carrying the load once again.
Carl Edwards led for more than 60 laps at today's nationwide series event. See if he held on for the win coming up in sports. You've probably heard of the children's game Red Rover, but you may not have heard of Reading to Rover. Kids from all over Columbia gathered at the Columbia Public Library this afternoon to read to therapy dogs. The kids say it can be hard to get the dogs to pay attention to the story, but that it's nice to read to someone who can't correct you when you make a mistake.
That'll do it for KOMU 8 News at 9. If you just can't get enough, head on over to our webpage, KOMU.com.
And be sure to check out KOMU's Facebook and Twitter pages for news, photos, and discussions. But don't forget your daylight savings tonight.